there, nice to see you. Welcome to another video. Today we are going to be setting up my project journal and I am going to be talking you through this. But if you're new here, my name is Marta. I am an aspiring author currently working on Project Voice, which is a witchy middle grade fantasy book. It is a standalone, it is super cozy, I am so excited about it. It is still very much in the early phases. And yeah, I want to show you how I start my journal. I was going to do this a bit more vlog style, but unfortunately I lost my voice on the week that I was gonna fill this in. So I did it anyway, but I filmed it as a top-down silent video and now we're gonna talk through it. So while you watch me put together the cover, I want to talk to you about why we're setting up a project journal. And this was very heavily inspired by my friend Anna. She did this a little while ago for Hera's book and I am absolutely obsessed with how her project journal turned out. It is so pretty, it is so functional, it is so analog and so nice, and I just immediately knew when I saw that I wanted to do that myself. But I was in the finishing stages of Project Site at that point, so I held off until we are working on a new project, which is Project Voice. I am so excited to be working on Project Voice, by the way. It has been so self-indulgent and so much fun and I'm just having the best time with it. But the reason I wanted a project journal is because this book is my spring book, as I keep mentioning, and I want to be able to work on it outside. Like, the weather's changing, it's finally getting warmer, there's flowers everywhere. I want to brainstorm outside and I don't always want to be dragging around my, not actually that heavy laptop, but still my nice pretty laptop that I don't want to get muddy if I'm going on like a walk. I don't necessarily want to be carrying that all the time. And especially right now that we're just like brainstorming and thinking about things and outlining, I wanted to have something physical that is big enough for me to do like substantial amounts of work. Like, it is chunky, I can get a lot of stuff done per page, but it's lighter than a laptop. I can throw it in my backpack and it's not gonna get damaged if I drop my backpack. It probably will get damaged if I drop my backpack into the lake, but I won't be as sad about it as if I do that with my laptop, and hopefully I will not be doing that with either of those things. I have never managed to drop my backpack into the lake, but the fear is there. And yeah, I basically want this to be a place where I can do my brainstorming. I'm also seeing it as a journal, so somewhere to keep the history of the project. It's basically a blend between a bullet journal, a brainstorming notebook, and a commonplace journal, because I also want to be keeping collections of my research and my findings and any bits of inspiration that I collect to put in here to later on use in my book. I am still planning on using Notion as the main space to organize the book. I will be putting the story bible, the character profiles, and all of that information that I want readily available, and like anything that's finalized, anything that's editable, basically. I want to have a quick reference in Notion that I can use, but this is more for on the go. This is more for having a history of how things develop and actually brainstorming on paper. I just think it's gonna be so nice to have this. Hopefully I actually use it, but I think I will. I'm excited to try. I'm also going to try my hardest to not be too precious about it. I want to be able to just scribble in here and not have everything be super prettily decorated, but I couldn't help myself with the cover page. I spent a little bit too long on it. The design is very simple. I didn't want to go overboard with too many elements, but you cannot imagine how much time I spent trying to figure out how to use gold leaf in here to make those shapes. Like, I tried this in my sketchbook separately. I tried so many different ways of doing this. It's not perfect, but it does work, and I'm really proud of this. It's so shiny. That is probably far too much rambling for page 1, but the second page, I really wanted to do like a little inspiration capture. So it's anything that's calling me about this project that makes me want to work on it, and these are just a couple of the things that are calling me towards this project right now that I scribbled down, but there's loads of space. So anytime that I'm excited about a particular element in this book, anytime that I'm really feeling pulled to work on this book, I would like to write it down in here. And then if I'm ever low on motivation, I can open the spread and fill my brain with all of the things that called me about this project in the first place and get back into it. The next spread is going to be my book history page, and I started by cutting out 500,000 little brown paper rectangles and meticulously rounding all of the little corners, so bear with me for a while. But while that's going on, I wanted to fill you in on this project's history because I didn't realize how long I've been working on this project until I went back through all of my statistics and filled this in properly. And I absolutely love having this page because I have all of these time tracking stats and like all of these other things that I pulled up to fill this in, but like they're not somewhere I can access. It's all I can access it, but it's not easy to look at. It's all part of my entire time tracking history from many years, which is all over the place, and it is so nice to have just one project all in here in like the different stages. So I went all the way back to the beginning, and apparently I first started this project in 2021. So I'm a bit embarrassed that I've been calling it a new project. Clearly it is not, but the amount that I've worked on it in total is, can I do maths? Under 40 hours. So I think I can still call it a new project. It's just been sitting at the back of my mind for a really long time. 2021 was when I first came up with the concept, and I was in the middle of something else at the time, but Storyteller's Heart was coming up, or back then it was actually called Worldwide Writathon, which really dates this first concept. But I wanted to work on something different during that Writathon. I wanted to leave my main project aside for a weekend and just do something else. And I sort of started working on this, and I went in without a plan, no outline, barely a concept of who the characters were or what the world was. It was basically just vibes, and I went straight in and I wrote 5,000 words in one weekend, completely pantsed, and that was it. Then we didn't touch it again until 2023. In 2023, I did some brainstorming in October and then attempted to draft it in November. I spent a total of 20 hours during these 2 months working on it, and I went into drafting again with barely any brainstorming. We had a little bit more this time round, but really not enough. Like, I could really feel it when I was writing this, that I needed more to go on. So we made it all the way to the end of Act 1 with almost 14,000 words, and then we didn't touch it again until 2024. And in 2024 was when I attempted to do a little writing experiment, which lasted 6 months, but the premise was that I would work on my side project, specifically work on brainstorming my side project, for one day, so one weekend day, per month for 6 months. So even though we were brainstorming for 6 months during this time, it was only 6 days, and I think I remember I was ill for one and I skipped it. So we worked on brainstorming this book for 14 hours during that time. And that brings us to now, 2026. 2 years later, we are picking it back up again, and I am having the best time with it. Every other time that I've picked up this project, it's been an in-between drafts project that was meant to just either be like a weekend thing or like a side thing, or just a quick NaNoWriMo project, something to work on in between drafts of project side as a little 1 month maximum sort of thing, and then go back to the main project. This time round, I intend on actually dedicating some more time to it. I have been working on project side for I think a year and a half now, possibly 2 years, with very few breaks. Not necessarily just one book, but the whole trilogy, and I feel like I need more than a month break from it, and I'm really excited about this project, so I'm probably going to be working on it throughout the entirety of spring at the very least, possibly longer, depending on how long it takes. And I'm really excited to actually dedicate some substantial amount of time to it. And yeah, we'll see where the rest of the project history leads me, but this is how the spread turned out. My phone did run out of memory towards the end, so not all of the bits were filmed, but this is the current final page. It will probably take me more than 3 full drafts to actually finish this, so I have left the next 2 pages in this notebook blank, and I had a whole bunch of little rectangles spare, so I put them in the little back pocket of the notebook. So we will be returning to those when I inevitably need another project history page. And then finally I have 2 more pages I have a spread for potential comp titles, and this isn't necessarily my final 2 comp titles. This is going to be a list for comp title suggestions, like if people recommend books that they think would fit, or if I see a book that I think would fit, I will write it in here. And then as part of all of these other pages that I have, I will probably be making reading spreads for these books in here and sort of seeing how they compare up with my book. And yeah, it'll just be a list to pick books from when I am looking to read something in the same sort of style as while I'm writing, which will probably not be happening while I'm drafting. It will probably be in between drafts for this project, but when I'm working on my main project, so that I don't get myself super confused. And then the next page, which is very similar but like slightly different, is my reading list. And this is not the same as comp titles because it is not necessarily books that are comparable to my book as much as it is a reading list to help me write my book. So things that are gonna go in here is non-fiction books about research topics that I want to explore. Potentially any craft books that I feel would help with this particular story if there's anything that I'm stuck on. And also fiction books that aren't necessarily comp titles, but that I have heard that they do things very well that I am trying to also do. And I'm sure this reading list is going to end up including movies as well, potentially, and documentaries or articles or anything else, but reading list just sounds a little bit better, I think. And that is the final page. I have this many blank pages to fill up with all of my brainstorming and my thoughts and my dreams and my trackers, I guess. And just the whole history of working on this book. I'm just so excited to have a physical space for this project. I feel like this is going to make it so much fun for me to work on this book. It already is so much fun, but this is really just going to step up my writing process and step up my ability to write outdoors. And I am so excited to start using it. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to send me either any book recommendations about the things that I said I needed book recommendations for, or any recommendations of what you do with your project journals, if you have any. Also make sure you check out Anna's video on her project journal, because honestly, I rewatched it again when I went to set up this project journal, and it's just such a great video. Everyone needs to go watch it immediately. So I hope that you're doing well, I hope that you're having a wonderful time working on your projects, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.